Imagine living in a time where your voice doesn't matter. You are part of a massive group of people, forced to build cities and make bricks for a king who sees you as nothing more than tools. This was life for the Israelites in Egypt. They had been slaves for 400 years. They prayed, they cried, and they waited for someone to save them. That's when a man named Moses shows up. He is a Hebrew by birth, but was raised in the palace of the very Pharaoh, holding his people captive. Moses, along with his brother Aaron, walks into the throne room and delivers a simple message from God. "Let my people go." Pharaoh, who considered himself a living God, probably laughed. He looked at Moses and said, "Who is the Lord that I should obey him?" He wasn't just saying no to freedom. He was challenging the God of the Hebrews to a duel. What follows isn't just a series of natural disasters. It's a dismantling. It's God systematically taking apart everything Egypt trusted in. Every plague is an attack on an Egyptian god, showing that the God of the slaves is more powerful than the gods of the empire. First, the Nile turns to blood. To the Egyptians, the Nile wasn't just a river. It was the source of life, worshipped as a god. Suddenly, their life source becomes a symbol of death. The fish die, the water stinks, but Pharaoh's heart remains hard. Next come frogs. The goddess Hecate, depicted with the head of a frog, was a symbol of fertility and blessing. Now, frogs are a curse. They're in the beds, in the ovens, in the food. It's uncomfortable and humiliating. Pharaoh starts to crack, begging Moses to make it stop. He promises to let the people go, but the moment the frogs die, he changes his mind. The plagues get more intense. The dust turns into gnats. Then swarms of flies invade. But this time, there's a distinction. The land of Goshen, where the Israelites live, is completely untouched. This isn't random chaos, it's targeted. Livestock die. Then boils break out on the Egyptian people, oozing sores. Every time Pharaoh has a chance to give in, to show humility, he pulls back. He's less concerned with his people's suffering than he is with his own pride. Then comes a plague that crosses a line. Hail. Fire mixes with the ice as it falls from the sky, destroying crops and killing anyone caught outside. For the first time, some Egyptians actually take God's warning seriously and bring their slaves inside. The fear is spreading. Locusts follow, eating whatever survived the hail. Then, a terrifying darkness covers Egypt for 3 days. Not just a storm, but a tangible, oppressive darkness. The sun god Ra, the most powerful deity in Egypt, is rendered useless. Pharaoh says the people can go, but the livestock must stay. It's another trick. Moses refuses. By now, 10 plagues in, the relationship is broken. Pharaoh has lied so many times. The final plague isn't aimed at the Nile, or the crops, or the livestock. It's aimed at the heart of Egypt, its obsession with legacy and power. The firstborn. God gives very specific instructions to the Israelites. This is where the story pivots from judgment to salvation. Each family is to take a llama, perfect, spotless lambent, slaughter it. They are to take the blood and paint it on the doorposts of their homes. They are to eat a hurried meal, roasted meat with bitter herbs and bread made without yeast, because there's no time to wait for it to rise. They eat with their cloaks tucked in, sandals on their feet, staffs in their hands. They are to be ready to leave at a moment's notice. Imagine the stillness. At midnight, a destroyer passes through Egypt. Every house not covered by the blood experiences a devastating loss. From the palace of Pharaoh to the dungeon, the wailing starts. There wasn't a house in Egypt without someone dead. But when the destroyer comes to a house marked with the blood of the Lamb, he passes over it. Inside those homes, the Israelites are safe. They aren't safe because they are better than the Egyptians. They are safe because they trusted God's instructions and were covered by the sacrifice. In the middle of the night, Pharaoh summons Moses. He doesn't just say, "Go." He says, "Get out. Go. Worship the Lord as you have requested. Take your flocks and herds and bless me also." The people who were slaves just hours ago are now urged to leave by the very people who enslaved them. The Egyptians give them gold, silver, and clothing, desperate for them to leave before anything else happens. Around 600,000 men, plus women and children, plus a mix of other people who saw what happened and decided to join them, walk out of Egypt. They leave behind 400 years of slavery. This story isn't just about plagues and a stubborn king. It's about a God who sees the suffering of his people and acts. It's about the contrast between the hard-heartedness of pride and the freedom found in humility. It's also a story about provision. God didn't just break them out of prison. He provided a way for them to be protected during the judgment. The Lamb provided the covering. And finally, it's a story about a new beginning. They walked out of Egypt as a ragtag group of slaves, but they were on their way to becoming a nation. They left behind the only world they knew, stepping into the unknown, following a God they were just beginning to understand.